Hello and welcome back. I am the Watcher, and I have one hell of a story for you today. That's right, the one and only Hellboy. And you know, surprisingly, for a book about one of the sons of Satan, it's actually not that many trigger warnings in it. The only triggers I could really think of in this issue would be gore, violence, and for religious people who are afraid of depictions of Satan or satanic things or just anything they perceive to go at all that way, maybe not for you. But if there's one thing this channel has taught me, it's that a true Christian really has nothing to fear out of that, because you are washed in the blood of Jesus, and that will protect you because Satan has no power over you because Jesus is above him. But we'll save that kind of talk for the next chick publication we do. Now, of course, if you're walking away from this video for any of those reasons I listed, I'd like to invite you back next week when I'm going to be doing The Spirit. This issue is going to be the return of Dr. Cobra, which, he was the villain in his origin story. I thought he got shot at the end of the last one, though, so I wonder how he's going to come back. I guess he survived and we took care of him because that's what we do in America. We shoot you when we're arresting you, you go to the hospital. They handcuff you to the bed, though. But this week, we're doing Hellboy, and I gotta tell you, I've been wanting to read these since I was a little kid. I learned about Hellboy. I couldn't have been older than 10 years old when those movies came out with Ron Perlman in it. I gotta tell you, I loved it. I saw the first one on FX, so heavily censored, still loved it. Went and seen the second one in theaters, the Golden Army, with my cousin. Oh man, I had to have been like 8 years old. He didn't move here till I was 13. Anyways, I have a lot of nostalgic, feel-good memories associated with the franchise. And when I was a kid, it was really hard to find stuff. It wasn't like today. And I didn't even know there were Hellboy comics to begin with. I actually didn't find out until I was an adult. I saw some other YouTuber's channel. I'll try to find him and cite him right here. Anyways, bought a shirt from the guy. Pretty good quality shirt. And I seen his Hellboy video. And it got me nostalgic feel-goods about the movies. And I watched the movies again. And I was like, well, if he says they're comics, I'm going to buy them. And I got the entire run of The Wild Hunt. And from what I understand, The Wild Hunt is not the first Hellboy story. If I had done more research, I would have went for that. But, I mean, you gotta understand how it is. You see something on sale, you jump on it. When I see fun comics on sale, I jump on it. Only at Divine Watcher. It's like if you grew up and you knew about Batman and Superman, you're like, oh, why aren't they ever together? And then you're like an adult and someone's like, have you seen the Justice Friends? And you're like, the what? And as you'll see shortly, these books, they really don't disappoint. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, welcome to the main segment. Now, first thing I want to point out, a Dark Horse publication. You've heard me harp on them a bit in the past for things like Predator and whatnot, and me just saying, I'm probably not going to do too many Dark Horse publications on this channel. The reason I didn't like them is because, from my point of view, they just bought up other people's IPs, made stuff for them that didn't really fit well, like Alien and Predator and Conan, especially what they did with Conan. Huge Conan fan, you've seen my bookshelf. Well, this is the exception, Hellboy. Honestly though, if I'll buy chick publications, despite the kind of stuff they say, obviously I am willing to shell out a bit to get something if I think it's worth it. I mean, this, I gotta tell you right now, this, I said last week, it's like a fine bottle of wine without even knowing what's in it. And you know what? That statement, it more than lived up to it. This is probably one of the best comics I've ever read. This is probably one of the greatest pieces of art I feel I own. It is that good. These guys, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce your names, Mike Mignola and Duncan Figueredo, you two gentlemen, absolute chads. I'm going to tell you right now. Chads, men of integrity. And that is apparent in this book. Now, of course, the whole thing is a little glossy because it's a very nice print, so I'll try to minimize the reflection that you get on it and the shine in the video. I like this too, 1 of 8, so you know how many you're looking for. It's not just 1. No rain, but the thunder and the sound of giants. And I mean, look at him. He's got that spear. He's on a horse. I want to know what's happening. The first thing that stood out to me on this is his tail. It's like more like just a monkey tail. It doesn't have the little spade on it. And I'm wondering if it will at some point, like if that's something that changed, or if that's something they changed for the movie to make it look more like what we consider a devil. The other thing that stood out to me about it is the Hand of Doom. It looks huge, especially in some panels. Like, he looks completely outscaled by it. And you might remember the movie, he's a little monkey baby dragging that thing around. Like, that would have sucked. No wonder he's so ripped and his shoulders look like that, having to drag that thing around his whole life. I mean, his big ass horns too. Or you may notice there are some slight stains on this book. It's how it was when I got it. Like many books, I buy them used and I get the cheapest copies I can find. Now, I want to point out something on the back. This is what formed my opinion of the creators of this book. Direct sales, no ads, nothing. This is a section from the book. I mean, this is also one of my favorite images in the book. And you'll see this, I'm going to spoil it now, in the whole book, there is not a single advertisement. Not a single one. And that is why they are men of integrity, because they put out what is beautiful art. And that is all they cared about, and that's all they wanted to get out. Even though it would have made them more money to put ads in there. But they didn't. So the art can shine through for what it is. I mean, we read just the book we did last week. The Crimson Commando, just cram-packed with ads, right? Not these guys. The only thing they're going to cram-pack you with is adventure. Now, I want to look at the art here. I want to point out the cell shading. Now, I'm of one of two camps of either I hate it or I love it. And this one is the latter, because, I mean, it doesn't even look like the type of heavy cell shading, honestly. It just looks like more of a stylistic choice with the shadows. For me, like a bad example, and, I'll get a little flack for this, but I stand by it, is Borderlands. I didn't like the artistic style. I thought some of the designs were cool, like those guys you blow their heads off and the brain's coming at you. I did not like the cell shading. It made it look fuzzy and out of focus. It made it look like a game that had come out 3 years before all the other games that were coming out at the time. And then the gameplay itself, like the jokes and whatnot, were just... it was annoying. Like, dude, I couldn't even get past that gorilla. And my friends were like, oh, just do it. And I did it. I put in, like, 10 hours and was still like, nah, it's not getting better for me. Didn't have that social pressure to play, though. But as for the comic, the whole thing, unlike my mind, is very self-contained, and it only references things that are in the stories. It does reference some other books, and it tells you where to go for them. Alright, Hellboy, The Wild Hunt. And a story by Mike Mignola, and art by Duncan Feggarito. Again, I'm sorry if I'm getting your guys' names wrong. I'm not trying to be mean here or funny. Like, I really have trouble with people's names. You could watch any of my videos. I have messed up so many names. I'm going to bring it up again. I mispronounce goalie as golai. It's just, it's not, I'm not taking a shot at you, is what I'm getting at. Oh, look, comic shop locator service, and there's a number here. I wonder if that still works. I want to try to call that, and I'll let you know. There's also a darkhorse.com and a hellboy.com. Oh, and then you got the colorist, Dave Stewart. Letter, Clem Robbins. Cover, Mike Mignola and Dave Stewart. Oh, Dave Stewart did the cover. So I guess if the art... Oh, you remember I said it was the tail? That will make it interesting, because then Dave did it and Duncan did the inside of the book. So I'm gonna look for that right now. See here now. Designer, Mike Mignola and Kerry Grazzini. Associate editor, Samantha Robertson. Editor, Scott Alley. And publisher, Mike Richardson. I wonder what an associate editor is. It's like... Oh yeah, the editor? I know that guy. What do you do? Well, I know that guy. The story opens in Italy. You have this little old man on this bicycle here. These beautiful drawn countrysides. You know, it takes me back a bit to Assassin's Creed 2. He's pulling up to this mansion. And it looks kind of decrepit and spooky. You know, the shutters are hanging off. The leaves are built up. He's like, I better light one up. Screw this scary... Like, dude, he just booked it up that hill. But he's like, ugh. At least it's downhill so he can get away quick. And he just runs up to the door, which is covered in leaves. And he just sets this letter on it. And it creaks open. And he's freaked out. So he just jumped on that bike. And like I said, he's booking it down that hill. I love how they did that as a free panel. I don't know, it just makes it seem more open. So the door opens with this spooky wind in the leaves, and the letter flies up into this decrepit old hand. And you see that says Hellboy. I guess you could read English. And then you see Hellboy, and he's here in the forest. And again, like that hand, dude, it's huge. It's bigger than his head. Again, imagine having to carry that around. You have one of those weird Z question marks. So he's like, huh? And what's he looking at? Oh, look, there's this tail, and it's a little round nub. It's not pointed. It's not a spade. So I guess Dave and Duncan were pretty consistent between their art style choices. It's like, what's this? And there's some bird there talking to him. I didn't notice that before. I didn't notice who was talking. It's a little freaking... Looks like a robin. He's like, the funeral for Dagda, the king. Last king of the Tata di Danana. You knew him? He's like, I don't think so. What happened to him? And he's just this decrepit old guy being taken in the earth. And I like how natural it is, you know. We really shouldn't be doing what we're doing, embalming bodies. We're just poisoning the earth. And I don't really see the reason. Like, if people say your body has to be complete for resurrection. Like, dude, God made Adam from dust. He made freaking Esther from dust. Then he made Eve from a rib. My point is, he can make life out of anything. Why does he need your body to be complete? Yeah, so Hellboy, he's asking, so what happened to him? And... Hey, see, I thought they were accusing him at first, but no, it's that bird again. He's like, murder. You see there, standing at the head of the grave? Angus Mac O.G., the last of his sons. Angus Mac O.G. I gotta be pronouncing that wrong. I guess he's a SoundCloud rapper. See, he will not take up his father's sword. His brother Adich was killed. Lagan Ogum went down into the shadows, under the world ages ago. Soon he'll follow, and with him the last of his people. None of that race will remain to fight for this world. I wonder if this is tying into the Golden Army at all. It's coming. I smell the smoke. What? What's coming? Wah! So the bird's just flying off, you know, right over everyone. I wonder if there's some symbolism there, like he was the dead king talking to him, and that's like his spirit, like moving on to the afterworld. You don't find out anything like that, or they don't elaborate on it more in this issue. But he's just like, hey, come back here. Who's war? What do you? And this woman turns around. I guess that woman's name is War. Maybe she's like the god of war. Or Alice. He wakes up, Alice. And there's these two old ladies talking to him. Poor boy, he's dreaming. And you see him on the couch here. And he looks just like a couch surfing bum. He's got the oversized coat. He looks kind of scrawny, honestly. He's much scrawnier in the comics than he is in any of the movies. And again, that hand looks huge. He's got a bunch of rum everywhere. What is either shell casings or cigars? He seems pretty respectful, though, so I don't think he would be like Peter the Great's freaking little road show, just going around shooting up paintings in people's houses and whatnot. And he seems like a really cool guy. Anyway, so these ladies are like, mail for you, and he's just like, This is like the most consistent thing he does, is just question what's happening. Oh, look, he's really kind of stipply hairy. I guess he was kind of hairy. So, like, that later movie, The one that had the guy that they got to play Red Guardian. I think he was in Stranger Things as well. Like, they made his really hairy, and I remember hearing complaints about that, but I mean, he has like a little hair. He's a big monkey. He's like a big monkey. Monkey. He's like, who the hell knows I'm here? And you see those women, they're fading off into like skeletons. He's like, oh, it's sealed. Crap. I want to point out here, you think like him being red and everything else being so dark, it would look kind of like clashy, like, because it's a very strong tone of red, but it blends seamlessly. I feel like he feels natural in his world despite being bright red. Like the tone matches, you know. And I love how these girls are. I mean, just the transition on that page. Just like, as soon as he grabs it, they fade away. Kind of justifies the old man, like, oh, the place is haunted. So then you see him. He's just kind of walking up this road to these ruins here. 27 hours later, somewhere in England. Looks like an old abbey. And there's these British guys here. There's our man. Oh, he's late. He's like, oh yeah? If you guys were in a hurry, you should have sent a plane or something. I am impressed that you knew where to find me. It has been difficult keeping track of you these last few years. Very difficult. All those years lost at sea. Pretty cool little panel there. It's got freaking starfishes on him. And something about an island. He's like, yeah. And then there's a little citation there. Hellboy, Strange Places. Gonna get that. I don't know about this island. I love his answer. He's just like, yeah. He's just like, something about an island. He's like, yep, that was involved. No need to tell you anything else. He's so blunt. I love it. I wish I could strive to have so little to say. He's like, I should very much like to hear about that one day. Yes, indeed. And then it just shows him outside this weird looking little castle. Really like it. And you see everything's sepia tone, and he's sepia tone too. It's sepia tone red. Very interesting, I'm sure. This creepy freaking doorway. Time, gentlemen. Of course, we knew you'd return to England. That you were staying in that home of a certain Harry Middleton. I thought that was a bong for a second, but it's just a really cool decanter. It kind of looks like, if you don't know what a decanter is, though, it kind of looks like a bong and a butt plug, not gonna lie. That's why he's like, I can't believe I did that again. Then we lost you again. He's just like, crap. And it's snowy. Hellboy, Darkness Calls. Gonna get that. Yeah, this really cool, like, just these orange, I'm assuming they're like some sort of monsters. And it's like, rah! Do you see that giant fist pound in his face? The finger looks kind of, I think that's a shading, but it looks really thin there. It took some doing, but we finally discovered you in Italy. There he is with those old ladies, and this is probably like my favorite panel in the whole thing. Again, I would have this on a poster on the wall next to my lava lamp. I feel like I say that a lot. In the last several months, you've been living in the home of those Capabonico sisters. Hellboy, the nature of the beast. So I definitely want that one, seeing as it ends with this one. At least that's how they make it seem. And look, you see the hairs on his arms too, so he is just hairy all over. He's a big hairy monkey. He's like, so, they're a couple of nice old ladies. I helped them out a couple years ago, and they told me to stop by if I was ever in the neighborhood. That was 20 years ago, and both sisters have been dead these last 12. I don't see how that's any of your business. Just like it's none of my business you guys don't look a day older than you did the first time I saw you. And that was 50 years ago. That's enough. But it's only to make a point. They're all getting huffy now. It's serious. And I'll point this out right now. This comes up a lot. He really suffers, I assume because his life is so long, just perceiving the passage of time and how it affects us. Like, not realizing how long ago he talked to those sisters. And I'm sure, like many of you, I experienced quite a bit of time dilation myself, so I found that really relatable. There's so many times I've went back and they're like, that hasn't been here for 6 years. Actually, a funny story from when my son was born. Someone was asking, do you guys need anything? I'm like, we haven't got Ipecac yet. I've been having trouble finding it. This guy was old, and he's like, what's Ipecac? And I was like, it's that thing. You get the baby to make it throw up. And like, they don't do that anymore. And I'm like, they have it in the Tom and Jerry cartoons. I thought it was a necessary thing you needed for babies. And I look it up, and it's like, oh, they haven't done that for a long time. Do not base any of your child-rearing knowledge on Tom and Jerry. So they don't even sell it anymore. And I was like, oh God. And it made me realize how horrible those scenes were of that little girl force-feeding Tom the Ipecac. Well, back to these guys. It would seem of late you have been quite out of touch. No newspapers, no radio or television? I dare say no internet service? You've got me there. I'm surprised they have internet. All their cars look so old. I guess, because they're some sort of Draculas or something. So you're unaware of certain rumblings? Earthquakes? Not as such. No rain but thunder and the sound of giants, if you take my meaning. No? Giants? Unquite in the earth. It's true, they are giving up their graves. Not all. No, of course not all. But a significant number this time. Quite alarming, really. You guys are driving me crazy. He's just so over everything. He's such a moody teenager. I wonder if he is like a teenager, like by his life cycle. Like, is that why he's a moody teenager? Because he's a teenager? There's been no living giant in England since Weldon slew Hale in 1402. But this land was all theirs once, and their graves run from one end to the other. And it's a curious feature of giants that they rise from their graves. I've seen it happen a couple of times. It's more common than that. Tick-tock, gentlemen. He's got a watch. He's not talking about the app. He's like, right this way. He takes him down this passage. We aren't overly concerned with the occasional solitary giant. It's the gangs. Every so often, 2 or more giants rise up at the same time and band together to cause mischief. On those occasions, a hunt is organized. I didn't realize this the first time I was reading this, but it makes it sound like they're not just hunting giants, they're hunting zombie giants. Or giant zombies. No. Zombie giants. Yeah. No, giant zombie. No. I don't know. You know what? Down in the comments, is it a giant zombie or a zombie giant? And why? Because, I'm pretty conflicted on this right now. I'm going to be thinking about this for years. He's like, you're kidding me. No, sir, it's quite true. So, yeah, just a bunch of English people going to go shoot some giants like it was a fox. We get the poor people to run around and scare it over where we are so we can shoot it. 'Tis my birthright as a noble. You have this really cool scene with all these decrepit giant heads. It'd be funny if one of these came to life. It kind of reminds me of, there's this vampire movie. It might be Dracula 2000, but I might be wrong on this. But pretty much, there's a scene in the beginning where there's these vampire hunters, and they go down a hallway much like this, and there's a bunch of vampire skulls. And in the middle of all the skulls, there is one with the Nosferatu vampire teeth. And they all have dates on the foreheads, and the date for that one, I believe, is 1922, when the movie came out. And I thought it was a cool reference. And I really like that scene. Obviously, I can't remember anything about the movie other than that scene. And just look at these. Look at the variety, too. Horns, tusk, body augmentations, facial features. Very hush-hush, of course. The wild hunt established, we believe, in 1259. Holy crap. Usually it's no more than 3 giants together at a time. Not too much trouble. Sir Benwick took 4 at Durham Hill. That must have been something. I like how it's still hanging after all that time, like it didn't curl up and dry. It's just a little flappy lip. Well, if they come back to life, they must have some sort of regenerative properties. Maybe they are all alive on the wall. Yes, well, I'm afraid it's another matter altogether this time. It appears a gang of 6 are out, only a few miles from here, and several more up north. We actually dust in here. We don't want to touch those things. They're ooky. Also, it's kind of spooky when you come in. There's never been anything like it. There's even talk of the Scots and the Irish organizing their own hunts, if you can believe such a thing. Whew. Scottish people hunting giants. Yeah, sounds pretty bad. So 1882, 1912, 1943. I think that's one of the giant's heads that's on the wall. Like that giant looks like that head right there. He sees this one guy's like, hey, is this Trevor Burtonholm? Oh, that's a bad last name, bro. Trevor Butthole. He was a guest of the hunt in 43, and as I recall, conducted himself well. Hunting giants, I'll be damned. He never mentioned it. Look, there's this guy with this mystic ball now. A sarcophagus for no reason. Well, that's not a sarcophagus. There's a statue of Osiris. But then he never did say much about you guys. He's just tapping on the glass. What's the deal with the mask? It is a weird mask indeed. And you know what? That face looks kind of familiar to someone you're going to see in a minute. Tradition. All regular officers of the hunt shall go in mask and keep their identities secret till they have drawn blood. And you know, so that's 1943, and they're talking about internet, and these guys look very familiar, some of them. How about the guy in the deer head? The hunt master. It is his honor to represent Hernir, god of the hunt. Oh. Yeah, I seen a deer man once in the woods. He said a lot of weird things. Didn't really believe what he had to say. He's like, must get hot in there. And they're all wearing their stuff now. As huntmaster, I choose the hunters for the old and noble families of England. On no rare occasion I choose an outsider to join the hunt. Hellboy, what do you say? Will you ride out with us to kill giants? And he's like, sure, why not? He didn't really have anything else going on. So this is after his dad dies. Explains why he's just been wandering around. So then it cuts to, I'm just going to call him Timon and Pumbaa here. It's like a hedgehog and a warthog. The Hog Gang. Elsewhere in England. How long, Greenwich? It's months now, and no word from your silly court, nor your court of Elion. And no word from over the water. Where the trolls, eh? How's it with the Finns? The giants? The giants are trooping now. They remember her from the old days. Gah! Bugger giants. This island was theirs before it was ours. She promised to give a part of it back to them. To give them real power and kingdoms over men. But she was betrayed before she could keep that promise. Cut into pieces and put into this box. But the giants remembered. Bugger that! This version of Timon and Pumbaa is pretty freaking out there. Oh, look at that weird thing on his butt. He's got that little hole for his whip-like tail. I don't like that at all. I do not like the leather panty with the hole in it. No. His gauntlets are pretty cool, though. He's like, you be careful now. What would you do with giants? Slobby cows. What's wanted is the meaner sort. Slobby cows, he says. They'll come when she calls. I mean, that's why all the giants are waking up. When? Soon. When? It's you to be careful, Grundridge. She speaks to you only. To you. Your people need to hear her voice. How long do you think they'll wait? He's like, she will speak when she's ready to speak. Till then I speak for her. That doesn't sound like a possessive relationship at all. Okay, so earlier I said this is probably my favorite single panel in the book. Well, this is like my favorite cross-section and page, just because the colors and so dramatic, like the build-up. They're just sitting there having a standoff. This one guy who said like one thing, he's like, yeah, this army, these poor creatures of England, their king is dead. You promised them a queen. She better be coming. Or it'll be hell to pay, Grundridge, and your head to roll for it. And you see the horses riding over the field, and it gets in, it's all dramatic. And I just started hearing that song from the beginning of Conan, which I'm pretty sure I can't play without getting copyright strikes. You know, the one where he's in his village and the horsemen ride in and just start killing everyone. It's like, ha, 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 dun, 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 dun. Great horse music. It's just boom, barreling down. It's like they're set on their task. They got something to do. And he's like, so they're talking to this mystic guy. I guess this is a flashback. Anytime something's sepia tone or blue, what do you see? They're close. So if you guys don't know each other's secret identities, which is cool and mysterious, what do you call each other? Do you have numbers? I am Sir Richard Ashtree. Oh, so not such a big deal with the names. I knew an Albert Ashtree. Sir Albert Ashtree was my grandfather. Yeah? How is he? Dead. And this is the guy I was talking about. Looks a lot like the dude in the picture from before, doesn't it? Sorry to hear that. He was a great old guy. He had this house. It was haunted by a big slug sort of thing. Used to ooze up the floorboards every Christmas Eve. That looks horrifying. At least it's once a year, I guess. And you burned the house down. He's like, blew it up, actually. We tried a bunch of stuff, but that thing was nasty. That house had been in our family for 400 years. It was a gift from Elizabeth to the first Lord Ashtree. Yeah? Wait, are you pissed you didn't get to inherit the slug house? Bunch of slimy dudes. He just turns away from him. Monster. He's like, son of a... Arrogant stupidity. There's always been that on the hunt. Quiet now, there's the spot. You sure? Lady Haunton has never been wrong about the place. I guess that's a lady? She's like, yeah. Yeah, I would have done her like that the whole time. I would have been done like this. Wow. It's hard to tell. They're all a bunch of like frilly old dudes, you know? Here's that picture you seen on the back of the book. They took the word bubble out though. They'll cross the stream there. Then we'll have them. Tick, tick, tick. You see they're kind of like menacingly walking up with their weird spears. And now, treachery. And you see the horn blow. And float right through his freaking chest, dude. I wasn't expecting that. He's like, huh, shoot. It's like, die, monster. And it looks like the ash tree guy. I mean, they're trying to black it out, but you seen him walk up there beforehand. It's like, you should never have come back, cousin. We know what you are, and the devil will never sit on the throne of England. And he's like, what the hell are you? And then he's just staring at him. He's like, click. Bzz. I guess it explodes? So that's what all the extra stuff is on the spear. They stick it into him and then blow it up. To be continued. Dude, how do you think he's gonna... I thought he was just stabbed, dude. How's he gonna get out? How's he coming back from that? I don't think thermal detonations bother him too much, but still. There's this little thing here. Next week, BPRD War on Frogs 2. Sounds pretty cool. I think that's the other series. Okay, so I was wrong. There are some ads. There's one for Solomon Kane, which is beautiful in itself. I mean, like, even the ads are fucking beautiful. Yeah, maybe that's something worth reading. Maybe I'm gonna say now I was wrong about Dark Horse. Maybe I just got bad exposure because of the things that got made into movies. Oh, Abe Sapien's got his own book, The Drowning. See, this was like respectful though. They respected their own story enough. I never heard of this one, The End League. Oh, didn't they just make a movie out of this, or a TV series? Shouldn't be surprised they didn't make something new. No, anyways, that has been the first issue of The Wild Hunt, and it's one I really enjoyed, and I hope you did too. So, without any further ado, let's get to the final thoughts. So again, did I oversell it? I mean, come on, it was beautiful. This is straight art right here. You know, I touched on this a bit in the video, but the things that really stood out to me was the art, but also the integrity of the comic. I mean, there's no ads in the entire thing. There's not one, not even on the covers. Not a little banner ad, not even an in-house publication ad. Like, everything in there has to do with the comic. You don't see that. You never see that. These guys right here, Mike and Duncan, men of art and men of integrity. It's we honestly need more of that. You know, we need more of this and less of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Now, as for the art itself, like I was saying, cell shading, it's very hit and miss for me. It's either it looks really good or it looks bad, like Borderlands. Just it seems gimmicky. It doesn't look good. It just makes it look fuzzy or unfocused. None of that was present here. It didn't even seem like an artistic style. It seemed like a cohesive part of the world. Like the art style very much fit the rest of the book to a T. You know, if we're going to rate the comics, like compare them to real world things, it's like some of the ones I've read on here are like a McDonald's McDouble. This is a beef Wellington. Now, a lot of love went into this, and that really stands out to me. Now, can he beat Captain Planet? From what I've seen currently, I would say no. From what I know of Hellboy altogether, I would say he might actually be able to, even though he can't fly. But from what I've seen in this issue, no. But all I really seen him do in this issue was take a nap and get stabbed by some geezer. So I'm really interested how he's going to come back from that. I'm going to assume his anatomy's just different, or he has some sort of healing factor. Maybe his heart is in a different place. I don't know. I'm kind of reminded of the tale of Siegfried. Siegfried, he killed Fafnir the dragon, and he bathed in his blood, and it made his skin impenetrable. But when he got in the pool of the blood, a little something fell on his back, and he had a vulnerable spot. And somehow he knew this, and he trusted other people with the information, and then they betrayed him, and they put a spear right through that one spot. Which, now that I'm thinking of it, I guess you could stab, because once it goes in his body, like, it went out the other side, right? So, it's only impenetrable one way? I mean, it just stayed in there? Oh, it was pretty much surface level. I guess that's how the dragon blood worked in that story. Hellboy, though, you know, he can grow his horns really fast. He's probably got some sort of healing factor I'm not aware of. Again, like, the extent of my Hellboy knowledge at this point is a YouTube video and some movies that I watched when I was a kid and I rewatched recently as an adult with my son. You might remember when I made The Good Samaritan. That was right around then. I was watching the movies and I was like, oh, hell yeah, it's going to be awesome. And it was then I decided that Hellboy is going to be part of this channel. I would like to do all of Hellboy because from my understanding, it's like 2 series runs and a few like one-offs. There's this really cool one. I don't think I'm ever going to buy it because it's really expensive, but it's a 1-page panel of him eating pancakes for the first time. I'll try to find it and put it up on screen. I hope I don't get like copyright flagged for this. Anyways, Adorable Tell. It's pretty expensive online for that one panel because it was like a Comic-Con thing. Well, I guess I could review a scan of it at the very least when I run out of material. Now, for the character himself, dude, I just love him. He's just laid back. He's relaxed. One thing in the movies, they made him look really ripped, but he's kind of just like this slumped over, bad posture, very not human guy. He's got this huge oversized coat. I don't know, it kind of fits his character. It just, like, every single element in this story works together to tell the story. Like, everything from the format of the pages, to the coloring, to the characters, to how they're dressed, to their very personalities, to every subtle interaction and joke. Like, dude, what must have been going on in their minds when they wrote this? Did they do it all in one night, fervently staying up, downing stimulants, and cranking out page after page of rough draft? Was it something that took them years of hard, arduous work in the background, sidelining for other people's projects? Whatever it was, I feel like there's a great amount of passion that went into it. But that's just about all I have for you today on the subject. Again, next week I will be doing The Spirit, the second appearance, the return of Dr. Cobra, and I'm pretty excited about that. Get to put on my detective clothes again. And, the question that's sticking out to me after the last one is, will he have the mask yet, and will there be an explanation? It seems like these ones are skipping around, so it's not necessarily the second issue, so I'm probably going to miss quite a bit of story. And I gotta tell you, the old Spirit comics are a little expensive. So I probably have to find, there's some websites where you can read Golden Age comics for free, because it's been long enough, no one has the copyright anymore. And I might switch to that at some point, at least for reading certain things I can't obtain physically. But for now, I like doing the physical copies. I don't know, it adds something to the video. Just like in real life, it's much different to read it out of a book than off a tablet. Seems more like art to me, honestly. Everything through a screen is just so detached. The irony of me telling you this while you're watching my video, which I appreciate very much, by the way, especially if you made it to this point in the video. I hope to see you here again next week, and until then, stay safe. And remember, just like a bat out of hell, they can't stop you now, baby.